The first year has all been about brand awareness for Screencruit. Without a doubt, the double-edged sword has been neural AI, both for Screencruit and the recruitment industry. I personally joined many discussions and webinars over the past year alone, and even an exhibition, an expo. Mostly, they concern themselves with two main discussions. One, how they utilize AI for their operations, and two, how they find top talent. I put Screencruit together to allow people to showcase their talent on screen, whether the candidate was a graduate mechanic or a C-suite public global affairs director. One study alone from Serrano in 2021 empirically proved that callback rates with video representation guaranteed longer engagement with any one applicant and also increased callback rates by no less than 10%. Research from the Society for Human Resource Management prices the cost per hire at around $4,100, an average of 42 days to fill a position, whilst Business News Daily reports a bad hire at a cost of anywhere between $17,000, which I've on good authority has risen to about $24,000 now to, wait for it, $240,000. So that's when I thought, you know what, I can step in here with some personal branding to speed this whole thing along. I come from a writing and filming background and I can sell talent like a movie trailer. No one sees the movie without one after all, right? So it's good business sense to sell the best of your product, just as an agency or even the applicant themselves, along with your paperwork to stand out. A no-brainer, surely. 2023 also marked the inevitable emergence of ChatGPT, which is only ever going to lead to one outcome here, wasn't it? Candidates using it to write their CVs and resumes and cover letters. I don't know about recruiters, but as a candidate, my experience was being ghosted, then ghosted some more. No matter what BS they put on their websites, whilst each version of my CV tried guessing their latest use of keywords and even the new job title names. Whilst automation can take care of the more mundane tasks in life, it's automation leading these guys buried with more CVs, not less. If we look at AIs like Lazy Applied, for example, all applicants do now is fill in a screen with their CV, resume, and it will then automatically apply for jobs overnight for you through platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, Simply Hired, and more. I mean, come on, how many CVs, let alone cover letters, are employers really expecting candidates to write up each day? The door swings both ways, I'm afraid. As far as attracting top talent goes, there's a couple of job boards such as Flexer that offer candidates flexibility of remote and hybrid roles, who also work the same way, practicing what they preach, accrediting them with 100% employee retention. Others such as Otter have a wide variety of jobs that can be filtered with the salary attached. Quite simple really, start with honesty, stop wasting time on both sides. I may not be a top voice on LinkedIn myself, but nothing stops me from citing them or their sources. There's an extremely good report from Qualify that indicates candidates are sick of the onboarding time and communication. The 2023 survey revealed that 41% of the 6,500 international candidates they screened reported a lack of communication in the recruitment process, an increase of 36% in 2022. 49% left the recruitment process when it took too long for recruiters and hiring managers to even schedule an interview, which rose from 38% from 2022. This coincides with my favorite quote they use when they mention technology, which I really hope the industry starts picking up on. You want to hear it? Technology is great, but it can't replace the value of building relationships with people. It needs to be balanced in terms of automating what should be automated while maintaining human connection. This is especially true in recruitment. After all, recruitment is a relationship and people-focused role. There's another one I like too, speculating that despite what companies put on their websites, I would say it falls from choosing quantity over quality. It comes from Alan Bailey, Executive Director at Smart Recruiters, and it goes, as recruiters, we measure ourselves on volume of applications. From a candidate experience perspective, that's not great. as you become one of many. Candidates want to feel they are being seen and heard as individuals. Don't you just love that one? Now, since Screencruit is a branding service that does just that for people, being seen and heard, we cannot be automated. All video products must be crafted by a human that understands their goal by talking with the individual through consultation. No shabby pre-recording slapped onto an automated background for us, thank you very much. At Screencruit, we're not interested. That's good enough. We're more about the holy shit, that was awesome. Oddly, sometimes, somehow, Screencruit gets mistaken for one of the many video interview recording platforms like Odro, Sparkhire, and the like. Nope, we're not. In fact, we're better in the sense that our videos tell employers what the person is like, speaking for themselves. It gives them a chance to mention any career gaps, upskilling periods, or otherwise for every application they send, as well as being able to have their achievements and highlights on screen, humanizing the recruitment experience, where documentation cannot, nor can timed recorded responses for that matter, which pre-guide the responses and force thinking on the spot, non-repeatable recordings catered only for one position. Not that I'm saying that's not an asset, of course it is, but if people want personal branding and the top talent that you mention, recruiters and hiring managers need to know when to restrain themselves to get it. One objection to Screencruit was a bit backwards that came from a CEO of a C-suite hiring firm, stating that he liked those interview recording platforms, but Screencruit videos were open to discrimination. Well, both platforms are. They're both video based. However, I would say better the devil you know, rather than wasting your time going any further with them, correct? Incidentally, I wouldn't recommend hiring one gender over another because of a little thing called the Equality Pay Act of 1963, any more than I would hiring one race over another for fear of what breaking the Civil Rights Act of 1964 may just bring to your door. That said, who are we to know what reason these guys give you to reject you behind closed doors, right? So that puts us right back on track for how we present ourselves. Don't judge a book by its cover? Nonsense. Come on, that's what book covers are for. Just like what I mentioned about movie or TV show trailers are made for, to sell interest for the full thing. Again, very simple. So, give them a damn good show. Speaking of shows, one I use comes from that Switzerland's Got Talent, whereby this dark horse of an artist, she appears on stage before the judges, seemingly screwing up her masterpiece for show. We're barely 30 seconds in before one judge buzzes the artist out and quickly influences her peers to do the same. Barely 10 seconds later, the artist turns the painting upside down, blows on it, and it's one hell of a portrait masterpiece, and has the audience on their feet clapping. But sadly, this video also illustrates the price of automation, overlooking human talent, maybe the very talent they claim to be looking for. There is some hope though. For Screencruit's reach outs, we also include news similar to what Hilton Group in 2023, which gave us a great told you so moment to weaponize we can thank Gen Z for. This generation has a far bigger gravitation towards content, and their contribution to our attention span as a whole now puts us at an average of about 8.25 seconds, 4 seconds less than since the millennium. Let's not forget what the pandemic did too. It has catalyzed the movement towards remote work, similar to how AI is proliferating the call for personal branding to authenticate their talents their automated searchers are pulling in. It did come as a shock just how many times certain clients initially drafted corporate word porn like strategic, transformational, change maker, governance, and even rapid deployment on their scripts at first anyway. Whilst these may look great on a PowerPoint, they don't do a very good job of making people likable. So we had to do a bit of coaching on body language and colloquialism. We have also embraced using some GIFs in our outreach email, showcasing some examples of what we do to clear up the confusion. Funnily enough, we've had startups that take one look at us and say, Yep, we'll try this, it looks good. Whilst bigger brands are always waiting to see who else will jump first, you need to look at what your neighbours are doing in order to govern your own decisions. A lot like when recruiters continue to ask graduates over 20 years later, even today for experience they don't yet possess. A bit circular, we're not here to replace traditional CV resumes. It's more about upgrading them or even simply modernizing them. 2023 taught Screencruit a lot, especially how the language and function of the website has evolved, which you can see at www.screencruit.com, with examples of what you can get for yourself. You will receive access to writing assistance if you want it, and a one-to-one conversation about how your recording needs to be set up, and of course how you want your animations and graphics to look. Any image or video content you want to throw in is always encouraged. You will get access to the link, the file, and a discount if you need it updated later on in life. No tricky apps to work out on your own. You won't need to edit any of this stuff yourself, and everyone is welcome. Come and have a chat at any time, and hopefully see you soon.